it's tax time again in the US, and you know what that means. Time to pay up. Welcome to How Tuesday. Well, I'd like to start this by saying I'm not a tax attorney, I am not an accountant, so if there's something you are unsure of, consult one of those types of folks before you go forward with filing something. But if you are a YouTuber who has not been paying taxes on your YouTube income, you should be, especially if you're making $600 or more a year, in which case you'll get a 1099 form that should detail all of your earnings, either from your network or maybe from AdSense or somebody else where you've submitted a W-9 form. Whether you're making a little bit or a lot of money on your YouTube income, you should be claiming it and you should be treating yourself as a small business. It's very important to keep track of all your expenses, keep those receipts so that Uncle Sam will treat you like a small business instead of like some guy in his basement. Above all else, do not mess with the IRS. Do not try to cheat and scam your way into making more money off your tax returns. It's just a bad idea, and when the IRS audits you, they will find out and it will not turn out good for you. Before I let you know some of the deductions you can take, do not forget to claim sole proprietor on your taxes. This will let you make deductions relative to being a business online on YouTube making video content. Even if you're a step ahead of the game and you've already formed an LLC, you can still claim sole proprietor and have the added benefit of protecting your personal assets. So what can you deduct on your taxes? Well, the IRS uses a bit of a blanket catch-all statement that says anything ordinary, necessary, and reasonable to conducting your business. A good way to see if what you're claiming is legitimate is to give the laugh test. Say it out loud to yourself, and if you can do that without laughing and thinking how you pulled one over on the IRS, then you probably are claiming something legitimate. One of the main things you can claim if you're a YouTuber is the depreciation of your equipment. Lenses, laptops, cameras, that stuff's expensive, and the technology is always changing. So a good rule of thumb is that you can claim 20% depreciation every year for 5 years until you've paid the full cost of your item. There was a change to the law in 2012 that lets you claim 50% the first year on depreciation, but make sure you check with a CPA before you put any of these numbers directly down in your taxes. Are you advertising on YouTube? If not, you could be, and that's a place you could get a tax deduction. Whether it's running the promoted videos on YouTube or running contests on your channel, that stuff is all tax deductible under the advertising subheading. So if you aren't taking advantage of advertising with your videos, it's something you should definitely consider. It used to be a major red flag to claim a home office on your taxes, but nowadays with more and more people working from home, this is something that's a little more acceptable and doesn't immediately raise an audit flag on your taxes. So if you have a space in your home dedicated to doing YouTube videos, you can claim that on your taxes as a home office. The key here is to make sure that you clearly use that space for YouTube in such a way that you could say it is exclusive and regular. Even if you only use that space one day a week, it could qualify for the home office tax deduction. Do you have a cell phone dedicated to your channel? You can claim that as well, and even if it's used for personal reasons, you can still claim it as long as you have a percentage number you say that it's used for business and for personal use. Did you seek any professional advice to get your channel off the ground? Maybe you paid for some services from somebody like our very own Tim Schmoyer. Maybe you're worried about these very tax returns you're thinking about with this video, and you want to hire a CPA to make sure they're done right. All of those experts count as a tax deduction, so don't be afraid to rely on the experts to help your channel get to the next level. You may not think of it because most YouTube action takes place at home, but when you get into your car for YouTube business, that's a tax deduction. Whether you're going to the store for supplies or driving down the street for a collab, make sure you save those receipts. Gas mileage is a big one. With the increasing cost of YouTube conferences, this is a major place where you can make some deductions. Not only is the cost to attend conferences like VidCon going up every year, but the flight to get there, the cab ride from the airport to your hotel, the hotel room, and the food you ate while you were there on business can all be deducted. Even those silly little business cards we all make and we all throw out the minute the conference is over are tax deductible as well. Software deductions are another great place to make improvements. If you're still using outdated software like Windows Movie Maker or something comparable, you can upgrade to a better video editing software and use that as a tax deduction. This also applies to any other software you use to help you run your channel or make better content. Have you considered data storage? Imagine the size of all of your files, all the hard drives you have, whether you use cloud storage or have to have extra internal hard drives or external hard drives. All of that adds up and all of it is tax deductible. So don't be afraid to get another hard drive to keep your work organized. That is a tax deduction. Now you know some of the things we think people overlook the most, but how about things you should avoid? Do not, under any circumstances, claim traffic tickets. Just because you're in your car, flying down the road to your friend's house, and it was business related does not make it tax deductible. Stupidity is not a deduction. If the primary purpose of your phone line is not for business, do not tax deduct that. If you're talking to Granny on your phone, it is not a business conversation. You cannot deduct that from your taxes. Clothing is another one with a big gray area. If you do not wear the clothes specifically for making videos, you cannot tax deduct them. And I don't mean you just woke up and thought, oh, this is nice to wear, and I'm filming a video. If it's not a costume, if it's not required for doing your videos, it is not tax deductible. Large expenses are another one where people can trip up a lot. Large expenses are tax deductible, but it is a little bit related to the size and scope of your work. So you can't say, oh, I'm gonna get this yacht and live in it for YouTube. It's not going to fly. You don't need a yacht to do YouTube business, but you might be renting a yacht for your YouTube business as a set for a video that would be tax deductible. Personal expenses is sort of the catch-all bucket for the IRS. If something is more of a personal expense than a business one, you're going to get red flagged. There is a right and wrong way to claim you're going to Aruba on your taxes for business purposes. So, make sure you research that sort of thing before you take that trip and try to claim it as business. The most important piece of advice I can give is to treat your YouTube business like a business. Keep track of all your receipts. Make sure all your ducks in a row so when tax time comes, you know you're prepared to work with a CPA, identify all the things you should be claiming on your taxes, and you can avoid one of those nasty audits from the IRS. The worst thing you could have happen is for the IRS to take away everything you've worked for because of a mistake on your taxes. Thanks for watching another episode of How Tuesday. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share it around, give it a thumbs up, and comment below. Let me know what you thought, because I could use some positive feedback. I've got this disgusting cold from my kids, and it's just depressing my life. So give me a little bit of happiness and joy with the comments below. Make me feel a little bit better. I'd appreciate that. If you have any ideas for future episodes of How Tuesday, let me know in the comments below. We do read all the comments and use them for feedback for future episodes, so your voice will be heard. Have a nice Tuesday, and good luck on your taxes. If you haven't started preparing for them like I explained in this episode, use that information, get ready for next year. Start today, start collecting those receipts, and good luck getting a giant, fat tax return from the government.